Thanks for tuning in to the highlights from Day 2 of the 2023 Project Edward Week of Action. In this programme, we'll hear from the National Highways Director of Road Safety. We'll follow our road trip crews into Surrey, Warwickshire and Merseyside, and we'll hear once again from our young people about their thoughts on being passengers in the cars of friends. Plus, a roads policing officer and his grandson, who's 16 and already an accomplished racer, compare notes on how to keep speed and aggression off the public road. First, let's hear from National Highways, prime sponsor of Project Edward this year.
Hello, I'm Sheena Haig. I'm the Director of Road Safety at National Highways. National Highways is a government-owned company and we operate, maintain and improve the motorway trunk road network in England. The network is around about 4,500 miles and it helps everyday life, business and freight with over 4 million trips every day. So it's a really busy network, and over the past 20 years, traffic has grown by over a quarter, and we predict this will continue. So for us, safety is a top priority, and that means safety is a priority for our road workers, our traffic officers and our road users. Now, England has some of the safest roads in the world, but it's a very sad fact in 2021 that 1,329 road deaths occurred. This includes 222 road deaths on our network and 1,107 road deaths on local authority roads. Now, each of those road deaths is a tragic event and it devastates friends and families. Our deepest sympathies are with all those affected. So what are we going to do about this? Well, at National Highways, we have a huge ambition that no one is harmed when using our network. And the only way we will achieve this is if we work with everybody. So this is the reason why we like to support Project Edward. Project Edward provides a platform where everybody can work collaboratively, share best practice and innovation, and everyone can continuously improve road safety. And I would just like to take this opportunity to thank everybody for their support and participation this week. We all have a role to play in road safety. Everyone has a responsibility to keep their vehicle roadworthy, themselves fit to drive, and their eyes and ears on the road. I hope you find this Road Safety Week useful, and thank you so much for your support. Safe travels.
Sheena Haig from National Highways, setting out the road safety picture on the strategic road network of England. Time now for our first road trip report, which comes from Darren Lindsay in Surrey.
We're here at a college in Surrey, and the theme for today is about safer vehicles. We've got a lot lined up to share with you. Many of the different partners have come down today. You're going to see some really good things, in particular some comparisons that we can all make when it comes to checking our vehicles, the difference between an EV vehicle and that of a more conventional.
I'm Lisa Townsend, I'm Surrey's Police and Crime Commissioner, but I'm also the National Portfolio Lead amongst Police and Crime Commissioners for Road Safety. So it's absolutely fantastic to be here, as you say, on this beautifully sunny day in Epsom at the college, speaking to our young road users, having a chance to talk to police, fire and rescue, and of course all the fantastic people from Project Edward. I think it's brilliant to see how engaged these young people are actually in this subject, because we know that young people are more likely, unfortunately, to be victims of road accidents and to be involved in road accidents. And it is, unfortunately, road accidents are a leading cause of death in young people on our roads. So it's fantastic to see that they're so engaged. They're talking to our police officers, they're talking to our fire safety colleagues, they're talking to people from Project Edward, and it's brilliant because that's what we need. It's them keeping up that engagement so they understand the risk, but they also understand their responsibility, whether that's in terms of looking after their car, looking after themselves and looking after their friends.
Well, we're very conscious in Surrey that we've got about 66% more vehicles than the national average, so our roads have a lot of vehicles, and unfortunately more vehicles mean more collisions. So we have a dedicated fund, dedicated team that looks at road safety, but we also do a lot with the younger generation. I can say that, being slightly older, people at college and even people at school, trying to sort of warn them of the dangers and what some of the basic things they need to do about when they take a vehicle out. It has to have tyres that are roadworthy, that have good grip, that they have the washers and everything like that. So when they drive, they're taking every sort of precaution they possibly can, because we want them to be safe on the roads and we want them to enjoy the driving experience. If you don't work in a partnership, we can all do our own little thing. we can all spend our money and our time and effort, but we're not actually working together to target the right people. And we all have different skills. You know, we've got the police, we have Surrey Fire and Rescue, you know, we have all the different organisations. They all bring different experience from their day-to-day work. So if we don't work as a partnership, I don't think we'll actually get our message home to people.
Well, I think we've got a really broad and diverse team, so we can kind of cover all different types of age groups, younger members of the team, more experienced members of the team, but it's trying to find as many interactive ways we can to make it interesting. So as an example, last year we did a football-themed event with a number of road safety key messages woven throughout, and that was linked to the World Cup and the increase we see in drink driving and tensions amongst young drivers when results perhaps don't go the way as they planned. So we really work hard through our communications team and our prevention team to tap in and seize the opportunity.
John Simpson ending that report from Darren Lindsay. Now straight to Gwenavard High School in Mid Wales as our 4 young people put forward their thoughts on being a passenger in cars driven by friends and whether they have safety concerns.
Yeah, I feel depending on the person, because I think you can tell a lot of their driving by like the person they are. But so far, everyone I've been, like everyone's car I've been in, I've felt pretty safe.
I'm pretty comfortable driving my friends. It's a good time. It is, you know, obviously you are sceptical when people do pass their test, but no, it is, from my experience, yeah, it's been good.
I know one friend that has had a bit of an accident, but then I think it was very much, wasn't particularly their fault. It was very much the conditions and other drivers as well. So I haven't been put off with them.
Once you pass your test, there should be no restrictions, or if there are restrictions, then they should be the same for everybody.
I think once you pass your test, you've taken lessons, there's nothing that differentiates you from people that have been driving for longer. I think that having a year gap, they're claiming it will make you more experienced, but I feel like the longer time you have carrying passengers or driving after night, I think that boosts your confidence, make you a more experienced driver rather than having a gap year, then having to get used to taking people again.
Thoughts from youngsters on being passengers in cars. Now we're off to Warwickshire to join Ian Greenman with his road trip report.
And we've come to Bridgestone headquarters here in Warwickshire this morning. Looking forward to a really informative day. We've got an engaging panel who are going to talk about data, and they're going to talk about technology. They're going to talk about innovation in terms of tyre manufacture. And we've also got the Warwickshire PCC coming along. So all promises to be a great day.
What does Edward give you? How do we give you value for money for weeks of action like this week?
Well, first of all, let me say it is an absolute pleasure to be on, continue the ongoing support. Why is it important to us? What does it give us? Well, our whole business is about safety on the roads as well, and the opportunity to present that to a wider audience, with your social media coverage, everything, it's fantastic. So, we continue to support.
Yeah, I'm a trustee of a local charity based in Coventry, Because Your Life Counts, and what that is aiming to deliver road safety education to the younger motorist or the younger person 17 to 25. We're showcasing an event next week or next month at the Motorfest in Coventry, hopefully delivering some road safety education, key messages to people there. And with Project Edward, it's been fantastic. This year has been really good. Every day there's a new top tip or a new road safety piece of advice, and they are fantastic. And with that, I can take that away to BYLC, or I can take it away to my work and educate our own drivers about road safety.
Okay, Philip, obviously with Warwickshire being a corridor county and your very ambitious plan with regards to halving road deaths and road fatalities and serious injuries by 2030, do you really feel you're in control of that?
I think it probably increased the challenge, but we are working nationally. I sit on the National Road Safety PCC board, and we work with our neighbours. We're working very closely with National Highways in our county. And it is a challenge, and we do have a much greater mileage of motorways through our patch per head population than perhaps any other county or police area. So I'm confident that we can face that challenge, but it does make it more difficult, and it does mean we have to work with our neighbours and other police forces right around the country.
Thank you, Commissioner. In terms of data, We're in a society now where we're absolutely swamped every day by data. So in terms of your commercial fleet managers, how do you ensure that they are not swamped and they can actually process and filter that data appropriately for your needs?
It's about adaptation. It's about using the technology that advances every single day. So every time there's a new technology, we bring it into our platform as soon as possible. We bring it to our technology as well, so that AI or the other technology out there can filter the data and also make it presentable, because what you can't have is hundreds of people going through thousands and thousands of reams of data. So it needs to be easily presentable. It needs to be a sustainable business model for people that use the system and solutions and use the most up-to-date tech. And when we come to road safety as well, we have to make sure we think about collaboration with local authorities or our local areas as well, and really work not just across our customer space, but also all the partners they have, because they need the data to make things safer as well. So, data and safety and sustainability all intrinsically linked.
James Dewhurst ending that report from Ian Greenman. By the way, when the recording was done, we went inside to record a fascinating discussion on data, technology and road safety within the business sector, and that'll be available as a standalone programme very shortly. Time to see where Stuart Lovett has been on his road trip across the north of England.
Project Edward at the Police Operational Command Centre here in Merseyside, and we're with our national partner for Project Edward this year, Lisa Scott from National Highways. I believe you're the Regional Road Safety Coordinator for the North West.
For the North West, yeah, that's it. I cover the 5 regional areas, so Cheshire, Manchester, Merseyside, Cumbria and Lancashire.
So what does your role entail then, Lisa?
I work with all the partnerships, the road safety authorities, the local authorities, the police, the fire service, and we coordinate activities against our key priority areas of casualty reduction. And we're here in Merseyside with one of our key partners, Merseyside Police, as part of their partnership.
Well, obviously, Project Edward, every day without a road death, that must be crucial to what you're trying to do with your aiming for zero strategy. So how does all that link in there?
So it's partnership working, it's collaboration, it's engagement, it's enforcement, it's coordination with our various different partners to undertake coordinated activities and events and operations such as this.
So here at the Command Centre, you have something called the Matrix. What is the Matrix?
Matrix is a brand for the Merseyside Police. It covers road policing, matrix disruption, firearms and the dog sections. We're all under one matrix or umbrella, but we are one standardised at the road policing department.
So, as what project we're going to see then here when we're with the Merseyside Police today?
You'll be travelling out with myself. We're going to cover both the Merseyside area and the Streets Road network, take you out onto the motorway as well. And we'll be looking to do some enforcement with mobile phones, speeding and tyre offences if we can.
Project Edward has moved to the Wirral today from working with the Merseyside Police and the Operational Control Centre there. We've now come to see a community speed watch, and with Paul from Wirral Council and the road safety team there. So Paul, what are you actually doing out here today?
We have a scheme operated across Merseyside called Safer Roads Watch, which we utilise volunteers to support what the police are trying to do to make the roads safer, and in support of the new road safety strategy, which has got a long-term aim of zero road casualties. So today, using volunteers, we're carrying out some speed monitoring. It's not enforcement, it's just simply speed monitoring, detecting drivers who are speeding and using the phones as it's been today. And each of those drivers will receive what we call a road safety information pack about their driving, because the aim of the operation really is to try and change driver behaviour as opposed to simply wagging them off and get them and telling them off.
Yeah.
And our sort of feedback that we're getting here on this particular road is that traffic speeds are calming down. We always say to start with that road safety isn't just down to a partnership, it's down to everybody. So there's no limit on who can be a part of that road safety partnership, as evidenced by today's event, if you like.
So we've seen lots of things. When we were out with Sergeant James, looking on the motorway network there, we were seeing all sorts of offences. We particularly found one HGV driver who was texting. We also came across a lady who, in a 50-mile-an-hour zone, was actually doing 79 miles an hour with a child strapped in the car seat in the back. The partners are working hard to raise awareness, and all this is around trying to ensure that every day without a road death in the UK.
Stuart Lovett reporting. Now, when you're a retired traffic cop, you may well find it hard to switch off from thinking about road safety. John Scrooby was in the job for 3 decades, and he's frequently sharing memories with his grandson Luke, who's not driving on the public road yet, but is already making a name for himself as an up-and-coming racer. More important, the two have done work together to urge youngsters to look after their licences once they've got them, as John explains.
I see it, and Luke sees it as a way of promoting road safety, in so much as do away with road racing on the streets, do it in a controlled atmosphere, a controlled circuit, and get some fun out of it without the risks of injuring anybody else.
Now, Luke, 16, soon to be 17, I guess, and soon to have a provisional driving licence. So what do you think you'll be like as a learner driver on the public road?
I'm hoping not to spend too many times as a learner. Hopefully just get straight on with my test and hopefully pass the first time.
You're used to a situation that's quite sterile. Everyone's going in the same direction as fast as they can go. There's lots of people waving flags as things go wrong. The public road's not like that. How are you going to adapt?
Well, even on a racetrack, we do have rules to follow. So it's kind of just adapting rules to rules.
To what extent is your granddad an influence on you? You've heard the sorts of things that he has had to deal with when things have gone wrong on a public road. Is that going to help you be safer, having that in your mind as to what can go wrong?
Massively, because I don't think there's one trip, even if it's just down to the supermarket, where he's not telling me a story about something that's happened on that certain road.
And how do we get that message to other young drivers then? Because young male drivers are such a high-risk group.
Firstly, I believe social media does have a massive influence on how people behave, because it's a worldwide platform and it just takes one person to do one thing, and then it's just that chain of events, people thinking, oh, let's just try it.
John, coming back to you, in your experience, are there things that work? And do we need to promote the positive benefits of safe driving, or do we need to scare young people with the effects of when it goes wrong?
I think the scare tactics are totally wrong. We adapted, as you know, I was involved in a young driver scheme for 3.5 years. We spoke to over 7,500 students per year. They see things on social media, on the TV, that don't affect them. They can watch that all day. We have to use a more subtle way of doing things, looking at the rewards of doing it right rather than the consequences of getting it wrong.
John Scrooby and his racer grandson Luke. Before we close, we'll check in with Neil Dewson-Smith and find out what he's picked out from social media.
Today's social media update comes from Regent Street in London. What a great place to demonstrate the importance of safer mobility and being everybody's responsibility. So much foot traffic, two-wheel, four-wheel traffic. 3 tweets to mention today. We had a great day on social media. Sergeant Paul Cording, North Yorkshire Police, is doing the Road Peace Challenge, 324 kilometres. He's going to do in walking, cycling and running. Go and have a look at his tweet. He's doing some great work for Road Peace there. We've also got a brilliant video from National Highways, our prime sponsor this year. It's about checking your oil. You might think that's really simple, but it's a really simple thing that so many people forget, and it can lead to breakdowns and problems on the strategic road network, so well worth a watch. And finally, just one for ourselves, a long-term friend of ours, Elba Toomey. This week is also Mental Health Awareness Week, and she campaigns around the mental health awareness with regards to police officers when they're responding to emergency incidents and dealing with pursuits. Real heartfelt message from Elba, and well worth going and have a look at our tweet. So that's all for social media for Tuesday. Looking forward to Wednesday.
Neil Dewson-Smith. And that's it for today's selection of highlights for the 2023 Week of Action. There's more to come as the Week of Action progresses. Thanks for watching so far.